Hey, so new Porsche Cup, Barcelona. I believe that's all the information we need. Let's start the track guide. Approaching the first corner, obviously taking all of the track to the left, so you can notice how I utilize the curb. So you should take all the track on the left. And we have quite a problem on the braking references here, because both 200 marks and 100 marks are too far away. We are willing to brake somewhere in between. I personally use, so here is this thingy in a fence, and then here is a, I believe it's just a light. So I am braking in between this fence and a light. Very heavy braking here, like your life is dependent on that. We are braking very heavy and very deep into the corner, and we already start looking on this yellow curb. So when you are approaching, when you are braking, your eyes should be already looking at this yellow curb, and while we brake in a straight line, we are still focusing on this yellow curb. And our goal here is to put this curb in between our tires. But be careful, if you cut too much, it's going to be not a track cut, but it's going to be actually a slowdown, which is very, very unpleasant. So if you are struggling with not having a slowdown here, you can just not cut it this much. Then better put your right tire on a white and red curb, because if you will put your right tire on this yellow curb, it will destabilize your car a lot. So if you want to drive really neat, you want to cut this curb but not to get a track cut. If you want to play safe, just drive with your right tires somewhere here, not to touch it at all. Approximately at the point when we are approaching this yellow curb, we should open a throttle. We're holding full throttle for not a long time whatsoever, because our goal here is not to have all the speed in the world, but to cut the next curb. So we have to sacrifice a speed a bit in order to cut the next curb in the left. So sometimes you will lift more throttle here, sometimes you will lift less throttle here, but basically you should modulate your throttle in a way so you cut this left curve a lot. Then we are just floating to the right side of the track, and here very important, you should be very aggressive and very quick on switching the direction with your steering wheel in order to throw all the weight from the left side of the car to the right side of the car and to switch direction efficiently. If you're going to be slow on this transition, then weight distribution won't just work. So we are really rapid. Boom. And straight after you turn the wheel, just give it a tiny bit of the braking power, literally 1, 2, maybe 3%, and we are holding car on the brakes, on a tiny amount of the brakes, just to help it to rotate. And we are looking for this, I believe it's a Marshall box. And basically when we are reaching out to the Marshall box, we should be already smashing the throttle. It is very beneficial to use this right curb to help the car rotate. If you do not touch this right curb, the car rotates less and you can carry less speed. But again, it's very tricky place here, because if you will cut it too much, you will touch the grass and it will destabilize the car as well. So either if you want to drive neat, put your right tires on this curb in order to rotate more. If you want to play it safe, then better do not touch this curb or touch it just a tiny bit before, because if you will touch it too much, then you will touch the grass and it's not good. Opening the throttle and do not closing it again. Our car is just naturally, because of the speed, will be spilled to the left side of the track, and our goal here is just not to cut any track on the left and to bring our car to this curb. You can take all this curve with your right tires. Let's watch the first sector full speed and then continue. Here we are. So our next reference is the start of the yellow curve. So it goes white and red, and then it goes red and yellow. So we are aiming for this red and yellow curve. And after we driven approximately 1 car length of this yellow-red curve, is it yellow? Maybe it's black. So basically yellow curve. We start to brake. So we start to brake, and we start to rotate the car straight away into the corner. We want to put our right tires to this curb. Once again, it's just the track usage, and also this curb helps our car to rotate. Here, for the throttle opening, here is this yellow spot on the wall, but I don't really suggest you to use it as a reference, and I really suggest you to use nothing as a reference here, because this way you will lose consistency. If you will have some reference when to open a throttle, in most of the cases you will have to close the throttle and your lap times will be inconsistent. Here you really need to try to feel the car and try to look where your car nose is pointed, and when you see that it's already kind of turned to the right, then you open a throttle. And sometimes this moment will be a little bit earlier, and sometimes this moment will be a little bit later, but we just wait for this moment when the car already kind of pointed to the right, and then we open the throttle. This way your lap times will be most consistent than if you would look for some references, because this yellow mark, it is kind of decent reference, but sometimes it will work, sometimes it won't work, because we're not robots and we're not turning the car each lap super consistently, and sometimes your car will be turned more, sometimes your car will be turned less. So don't do this. Better just listen to your car and wait for the moment till it's already turned. I keep the third gear here. You can switch to the second in order to get more rotation, but the third gear is completely enough, and it allows us to carry more speed. You can notice that when I stepped on the throttle, I never close it again, and that's exactly the approach that you want to follow here. If you will open the throttle at some yellow mark, for example, and then see that, oh no, I'm not making the corner, then you will close the throttle, and then you will open it again, you will lose quite a lot of time. So make this corner the wake, so you open the throttle and don't close it anymore. It's alright to go quite wide here. And what we are doing is just bringing car all the way to the right to this right curb. We want to take all this right curb, and basically once this curb is approached, you should already be braking, because we are very short on the references here. It's literally, here is no anything to look for in order to know when to actually start braking. So I do it the way that I just bring the car till this curb, and when it's already there, I just start braking. This way it allows me to drive quite consistently and quite decently fast. We are braking in a straight line, we really need to lose some speed, so we are not pointing our car to the left straight away, we are pointing our car straight, and we are braking straight, and when we drop the speed, we start to rotate the car, and here we really want to bring our car to the late apex. So the car is closest to the corner in the very late point, so that's exactly where you want to bring your car. So if you will bring it to the early apex or just mid apex, then you're going to have a trouble opening a throttle, because if you will open a throttle, full throttle from here, you will just go off track. If you will open throttle here, you will definitely go off track. So you are aiming to bring your car to the late apex and open a throttle there and do not close it anymore. That's how it looks from the helicopter. And exiting, we need to take all the curve to the right side. Late apex, opening a throttle, and taking all the curve to the right. Let's watch it full speed. So for the next corner, our references are end of this curve and start of the next curve, and we have a grass in between them, and we want to start braking approximately at the middle of this grass. Maybe a bit earlier, do not need to brake much later, then you will have to brake a lot, and you won't be able to rotate your car, and you will have to drop too much of speed, and you will lose much more speed than if you would just brake earlier. So, yep, we are trying to straighten the car and to point it to the left already, actually. And you can see that actually in this particular lap, I started to brake exactly at the end of the first curve. You can brake a little bit later, but I tried to play it safe in this lap. Quite a heavy braking, once again, in a straight line. So you can notice that instead of going straight away to this corner, I'm straightening my car with this curve and braking in this curve direction, not here. And after I drop some speed, I start to rotate my car. So here is an uphill. So we want to be on a throttle as early as possible. And our goal here is to rotate the car in this corner and to open a throttle really early. Opening a throttle, we are switching the direction of the car, so you can see that my steering wheel is already pointed to the right, and we want to cut all these yellow curbs. So if you will be driving with your right tires before the yellow curb, your track will be very narrow and you will lose the time. So correct track usage here is exactly like that. So we're keeping our left tires on the curb and our right tires behind the yellow sausage curb. And Porsche Cup is quite a soft car, so there is no issues whatsoever in cutting this curb. Yeah, it jumps a bit, but it doesn't affect the lap times in any way. And taking all the curb to the left. Let's watch at full speed. Whoa, 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 are you still here? If you're still watching this video, I believe it's quite safe to say that it is useful. So please take a moment to leave a like and maybe some comment. Let's continue watching. And here is very important and very tricky corner, because after this corner goes quite a big straight line, and we want to be on the throttle quite early, and also we do not want to lose a lot of the speed. So we should have a fast entry and also fast exit and early throttle. In these particular conditions, I have to brake in a straight line quite a lot, and then to trail brake car deep into the corner before I can open the throttle. Maybe in different conditions you can apply less brakes, maybe in some conditions you can apply no brakes at all, just a lift, but really look at the weather, look at the temperature and try to fill your car. But basically what we want to achieve here is that we want to bring our car behind this yellow sausage curb. So we are bringing the car behind this sausage curb. We do not touch it, but we need to cut the curb straight after it. And basically, approximately at this yellow sausage curb, maybe tiny bit after it, we have to be already on a throttle. So cutting and opening a throttle, and it's actually very essential here to also take a curb, this white and red curb, because it is slippery and it helps our car to rotate. And if you don't take this curb, then your car rotates less and you can open a throttle later. So definitely take this curb, make sure that your tires are on this curb, and then when opening a throttle, your car will twist very nicely. And taking all the curb to the left. As long as your right tires are on a white and red curb, it's not a track cut. Here how it looks from the cockpit. And this corner is very tricky and you really need to put a bit of a trust in your car and also open the throttle quite aggressively, because if you would be very lazy on the throttle, then car won't have a nice push into behind and won't twist this way. And also you have to put some trust into the curb that it is slidey and it will rotate your car as well. So if you will be doing this corner very safely, then most probably you won't make this corner. But if you will be doing it aggressively and put a trust in your car, then your car will actually twist in a magical way. So have a trust in your car, just practice it on some free practice session, because this corner is very essential to take correct. It is very easy to lose 3-4 tenths of a second just by lifting too much, by applying the throttle too late, or by not using the track, or by cutting this gravel. It's slowing down a lot. Let's watch it full speed and go to the next corners. So for the next corner, our braking reference is this. I'm not sure what is this, but basically this black square. And we are braking either at this black square, either somewhere in between 150 meters board and this black square. So we straighten our car. I brake, yeah, somewhere in between this black square and 150 meters mark. Brake quite heavily in a straight line, and we're dropping our gear till the first gear. And after we dropped all the speed, after we already managed to switch to the first gear, we are twisting the car into the corner. And before opening the throttle, just make a short shift to the second gear, because in the first, your rear tires will just and the car won't accelerate. So we are switching to the second gear before opening a throttle, and this way car actually accelerates very nicely. At the apex, opening throttle in second gear, taking all of the curb to the left, and straight away turning to this next curb, because we have to cut it a lot. We have to cut it quite a lot. So our right tires should be on the curb, but our left tires are completely off track. But that's not an off track. That's completely valid lap. If you are struggling with cutting this curb, you should know one trick, and it's all about the weight distribution. So you can notice that when I am steering to the left, I'm doing it quite aggressively, quite rapidly, and this way all the weight of the car goes to the right tires. You can even notice how in angle car stays, and our right tires are actually holding all the car weight, and our left tires are without any weight. So that's why we can cut this curb with the left tires quite a lot. Yeah, it's still ping-ponging, but it's a Porsche Cup, that's alright. The thing is that if you would go with the straight steering here, your weight will be distributed 50-50 between your left tires and right tires, and this way you will smash a car here, because you will have some weight on the left tires and you will cut this curb and it will destabilize your car and you will most probably end up in the wall. But if you are steering aggressively to the left, or your weight of the car is on the right tires, and you can cut this curb quite a lot. So make sure that your car's weight is on the right tires. And straight hour will end it. Just apply a bit of a brakes and turn the car to the right. Turning, quite deep turning actually. So we are not rushing to be on a throttle. We are turning the car and using some amount of brakes up until the moment when we can actually smash the throttle. And when we see that, okay, car is already turned, this yellow sausage curve is actually quite a good reference. You can look at it to understand how actually turned car is into the corner. And when you see that you can actually kind of shave this yellow sausage curve, you should be opening a throttle and to take all the curb onto the left side. Yeah, you can see that I took all the track to the left. You don't want to touch the gravel with your left tires, so that's approximately exactly the position that you want your car to be brought in. Let's watch this corners full speed and go further. Nice, thank you, helped a lot. Damn it, why am I writing it to myself? It should be you. I mean, really, if it was helpful, leave some comment, leave a like. It will help me to promote my channel in this video. And also more of the coaching sessions will be out for completely free. So subscribe and let's keep watching. Yep. So for the next corner, we are quite short on the references here. You can look at this orange line, but I don't really like it because you need to be looking at the corner. And if your eyes would look here, then you kinda, it's very easy to miss the corner. So I'm trying to just remember how long I should drive after I straighten my car. So I'm driving, I'm straightening my car, I drive for like 1 second maybe, and then I start turning. You can try to look at this orange mark, and once you bypass it, you start braking, almost already, but I don't really like looking here and then looking to the right. It will be really easy to miss this corner, so you better just count some 1 second after the car is straightened and start braking. So once our car is straightened, we brake, not once but second after our car is straightened, we brake, and we start trail braking straight away. We want to really shave this yellow sausage curb, and after that to already open the throttle we really need to raise our lower speed here. It is very easy to lose quite a lot in these corners, so you really care a lot about your lower speed. So once you see that you won't go off track, just give your car some amount of throttle in order to raise your lower speed. And approximately when your car is below this metal construction, I guess some banners should be there, but it's empty anyways. So when your car is already under it, you just start turning to the left and brake hard. Our goal here is to shave the next yellow curb as well, and to consider it as an apex. And basically when we are reaching it, to give our car a bit of a throttle. It is very tricky sector of the track, it is very tricky corners, so you should really modulate your amount of throttle with care, because if you won't give your car decent amount of throttle, your lower speed will be quite low and you will lose the time because you will be just slow in the sector. But if you will go full throttle or just give too much of the throttle, you won't be able to cut the next corner and you will lose a lot of time as well. So we are raising our throttle up until the maybe 50% and then straight away releasing it. You can experiment a bit, but approximately 50 and then release it straight away is quite a sweet spot. We give enough amount of throttle in order to bring our car to shave the next yellow curb as well. And straight after it, we should be quite hard on the throttle, because after that it is a straight line and we want to be quite fast on a straight line. Here, if you use the right curb properly, car is turning quite good. And you need no lift, but very often you really require a tiny amount of lift. And I would suggest you, if you're not sure, just lift a tiny bit, because if you will touch this left grass, you will lose a lot of time, and if you will have a tiny lift, you will lose just a little amount of time. So in order our laps to be more consistent, I suggest you to lift just a bit, don't be afraid of that. But in a perfect conditions, no lift is required here. And taking the left curb and going for the throttle. So all over this sector, we really need to modulate our throttle in order to both have the higher lowest speed, but not to miss the apexes. So be careful with the throttle. Be aware of that you should be careful on the throttle and focus on the line. And in case you will open the throttle not aggressively, that's alright, because you need to follow a line while still giving some throttle. Let's watch the sector full speed. That is going to be it. Let's watch this lap full speed, and just letting you know that I do personal coaching. In case you're interested, you have all the links below. And in case the track guide was helpful, please leave some like, leave some comment.